This book I'm looking at is about Sandra Day O'Connor. This is where I got a lot of information on her. And if you go under on my channel, go into live, you see a 10-minute segment of it. And of course, today we're mourning the loss of this wonderful lady, a real cow lady, a rancher, Supreme Court justice, active into politics, everything. And we'll miss her. I think she's 94 when she died. Okay, some of the news I got today, and news wasn't too hard to find today. All you had to do is look for it. You hear that mainstream news, you must look for it. um, a majority of Americans are beginning to have uh, apprehensions about the death penalty, and I had to wonder about it. I've heard the old argument that it doesn't. They have never proved it deters crime. Well, certainly deters a person that's allegedly um, accused of a crime. But I've had judges on my boss, federal judges, say it costs more to execute a person than it does just to put them in jail for the rest of their life plus 200 years. I guess that's because of all the appeals. I guess if I have any reservations, we're always seeing on television convictions being overturned because they did not have a fair trial. Because a person doesn't have a fair trial doesn't necessarily mean that they're guilty or innocent, but it does mean that the system didn't work like it should work. So that's my disbelief in sometimes. Here's something I got on my cowboyron.com, my news and information site. I got a little category called animals or people too. And that's because I love my dog and my horse and my kitty cats. But here's a story. Penguins, that's a little bird, I guess. It's up in the North Pole and South Pole. Sleep for just a few seconds at the time they guard the newborn, study shows. Isn't that amazing how animals look out for their own? And okay, go on my blog site, cowboyron.com. Got some information on the Russia offensive that's under war news. I'm going to go into it right now. Here you go. Electrical vehicle sales up 9%, still below many countries. We're still below, it's up 9% in other countries. Don't know how to figure that out. I mean, in some countries, people might be trading a camel in for a car. So I think electric vehicles have a place in America. I really do. I have friends that tell me that there's no way it'll ever work. I'm totally on a solar here out here in the desert. It works pretty nice. I don't have any more loss of electricity than I did on the East Coast. Windstorms knocking down tree limbs and things like that. But I think they need to go slow with it, and I see the Biden administration should step aside and let the marketplace take over. As it improves, more people will want them. Battery improves, battery charges quicker, battery runs longer, they're cheaper, things like that. After all, when they invented the horseless carriage, we started out with a steam engine in them, and then a small engine. You had to be cranked. You broke your arm. My dad broke his arm cranking a Model T, but they got better. One time you had to, if you got real low on gas and you had to go over a hill, you had to back the car over the hill because fuel pumps hadn't been added. So EVs, I believe, I'm on solid ground to say it's going to do the same thing. Here's one. U.S. shopper spent $38 billion online during Thanksgiving weekend. That's a lot of money. So people are shopping, but we've got to turn this economy around. People, we're paying 25% more for our food than what we did 3 years ago. And I'm not working right now, unfortunately, but even if I was working, I wouldn't be getting that type of increase. Okay. Now, Ukraine says it blew up the railway in eastern Russia. Well, that slows down supplies, war equipment, I would suppose. But they are fighting our enemies. I mean, I think it's better their men out there than our boys and girls. Now, here's the gold medal swimmer, Kelly, Keller, sentenced for a role in the Capitol riots. He got 6 months house arrest. Whether he deserved it, I don't know. It looked like he was in the heat of things. Okay. Another thing, Donald Trump, he got another leftist judge, says he's not immune from prosecution in his election interference case in Washington, D.C. Well, he didn't do anything. You know, you got to do something to be prosecuted. At least it used to be that way until Biden got in there, and he asked the people to go down there and voice their opinion peacefully. Peacefully is not violence and breaking up windows and threatening people is wrong. Violence is wrong. Hawaii's looking forward to for Japanese visitors this season. Oh, here, Justice Small, Smollettt. He's heading back to jail after his conviction was upheld. Well, yeah, he does have to be held accountable, and a fine and doing work release is not necessarily whether he should go to jail for how long, I don't know. But he lied. You know, and right now our country is going through a lot of mistrust. Blacks are not trusting whites. Whites are not trusting blacks. And to lie about something like this is unexcusable. Trump reacts to the newsroom of DeSantis and the governor of California's debate. I'm going to be interested in going to it. And Fox News has got some takeaways on the debate. I'll listen to it. I thought Laura Ingalls, her insight was pretty good. She kind of criticized DeSantis for crying a little bit. What little bit I heard of it, I wish they would learn how to let the other person speak. A debate is supposed to be a debate, exchange of ideas. Whether you like the other person or not, you're not supposed to be a yelling contest. Now, we can get the same results from children. So I think politicians should arise to the occasion. And I mentioned about Sandra Day O'Connor's and the book. And let's see. George Santos expelled from the House. And boy, that's lit up a firestorm. It's true. He wasn't convicted in court of law yet, though he's got about 20-some charges up against him. And it does sound like he is guilty. But the House does have a right to hold its own standards. I generally favor letting the voters make that choice. But he did get there under false pretenses, and it looks like he's wasted other people's money. But if you're going to hold one person that way, you should hold the other one also that way. Now, in the Senate, it's going to have to be perhaps a different standard because the senator represents the whole darn state. Of course, I mentioned earlier, Trump picked up endorsements. This is not news from Greg Abbott during a visit U.S.-Mexican border town. It'd be nice if the Biden administration would go down and see what's going on. I mean, they know what's going on, and they know what they did, and they did cause this mess. all you have to ask yourself, do we have a crisis at the border when Trump stepped out of the office? No. Do we have 20% inflation or when Trump stepped out of the office? No. Let me see if we get this light to come back on. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Tesla is ready to invest up to $2 billion in the Indian factories, and so I guess there's a market for EV vehicles, and this may be the thing for overseas. If you only go so far and they turn the electric off, they can pretty well control you. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, 10 minutes and 55 seconds reviews. I really enjoyed being with you, and I'd like you to look at this and go on my YouTube channel, like Happy Trails of the West. And that's the way I see it. Those are my opinions, news, favorites. I got a lot of channels there. So we'll see you in a couple of days.